Good morning. It's
Hi there, this video was live. Serious drought warning.
In many parts of England today.
Weather forecast UK 2022.
Over the use of water.
Times down there. The date today, 12th of August 2022.
Latest firm to announce it's introducing a hosepipe ban. Meanwhile, restrictions in Kent and Sussex have now come into force.
The ongoing dry weather combined with last month's record-breaking heat wave has drained rivers and reservoirs.
Yeah, that was 40 plus Celsius, was I predicted on the 31st of May 2022. And the 22nd of June, I predicted this August heat wave as well. 2022, August 2022, 22nd of June.
After weeks of hot weather and so little rain.
I'm always 85% right, let alone the drought forecast.
Expected to be declared
on the 1st of February 2022, I predicted for the southeast of southern England.
Golfers have had
it's the proof in the pudding.
This Cornwall course
no joke.
Has a stream feeding its greens, and that's running dry, and the fairways are already baked. And there's so little water, even the fish are struggling.
Yes.
The Environment Agency's been rescuing fish from the River Mole in Surrey, moving them to deeper, cooler pools.
That's my local area in Surrey. That's where I live locally.
It's going to be really busy. We've got another 2 weeks of predicted.
There's loads of ponds in Surrey.
And we're saying it's going to be another 4 days of extreme hot weather. Or with that.
So then the Basingstoke Canal.
Expecting a few phone calls this afternoon, this weekend. You know, we've already just this morning had reports of a couple more ponds that have just dried out, and they're asking for help with rescuing fish and moving fish.
Not the first time this has happened.
Shortage means more hosepipe bans. Southern Water customers have lived with one for a week already. South East Water starts today. Welsh Water will bring one in next week, and Thames Water is expected to follow. Yorkshire Water is the latest company to announce a ban starting later this month.
We don't know and can't be certain that it will rain. So that's why we take action now. That allows us then to apply for drought permits and drought orders, which mean we can reduce some compensation.
Control the water supply, basically.
We can abstract more water from rivers during the winter. And that will all allow us to sustain water supply into next year, but also help the recovery. And when we see some rainfall, that will just speed up the process and will enable us to lift the hosepipe ban more quickly.
Farmers are also having it tough. Fires are breaking out, destroying crops.
This is devastation. This is hell on planet Earth.
So I think we should be all right.
This is dangerous weather.
This grassland fire was sparked by a discarded bottle. The fire service is ready to respond to more of that over the next few days, as temperatures won't quite break records again,
no, it won't.
But will get close.
Or will they? Who knows? It's hard to predict these temperatures.
So let's go straight to Sarah, who's
I'm on it 24 hours a day on my channel, Sanjay Germans.
I mean, you only have to look around. People look in the gardens. Look where you are today.
Here comes the weather lady forecast on the weather.
Just talk us through
lady from the
numbers.
office.
How have we got to this point where officially drought can be declared?
Well, yes, good morning to you, Charlie, and Naga, good morning to you at home too. You're very dry, very parched here at Westdean Gardens in West Sussex. It hasn't rained here for around about 6 months, and actually
really?
It's a really dry summer.
That's
across
crazy.
Much of the UK. So in places, July was the driest July on record. But if you think back to the first half of this year, from January to June, it's been the driest first 6 months of the year.
Average rainfall where we are in Woking.
Exceptionally dry conditions,
but
and of course not just
obviously
very,
not
very
everywhere.
dry, but temperatures have been well above average. Some places at the moment about 10 degrees above average. In fact, it's not just dry, but also the Met Office have got an exceptional risk of fires in places, particularly for parts of southern and eastern England. Very high risk of fires too for southern and eastern Scotland as well. And we haven't got any rain in the forecast for most of us over the next couple of days, just away from the far northwest of Scotland, where there's a bit of patchy rain around. It is dry once again. It's looking hot.
Pretty grim weather forecasting for you guys.
36 or 37 degrees at their highest over the next few days. So we're on day 2 of that.
Depending what you want,
and the extreme
what you don't like.
From the Met Office, we could see problems with travel and infrastructure, as well as an increased threat of heat-related illnesses.
Trains going slower than normal.
It is looking
cancelled.
We are hopeful, though, there could be a change to something a little bit more unsettled into next week. But I'll have more details in around about half an hour.
Stick to your forecast for thunderstorms and don't turn it off. There you go.
Thames Water is one of 5 companies to announce it will bring in a hosepipe ban. We can talk now to the Director for Strategy and Regulatory Affairs, Catherine Ross. Catherine Ross, good morning to you. Thank you very much for your time with us this morning. When is an announcement going to be made for Thames Water?
Oh, God.
Well, we're probably going to be introducing the hosepipe ban itself in a couple of weeks' time. We've got a go, no-go decision at the beginning of next week. Then we have to publish a legal notice. We have to publish that in 2 national newspapers, and we'll probably do some other media as well. We expect that consultation to last for a week. We then have to consider the responses, and then we can bring in the ban.
Sorry, what's a go, no-go?
Whether we actually go ahead with the hosepipe ban or not. But to be honest, right now, I can't imagine we will be doing anything different.
If an official drought is declared in parts of England as the National Drought Group meets, doesn't that take away that requirement for those 14 days? So a hosepipe ban could be brought in sooner?
That's a good question.
We have to wait and see what the government says and exactly what that means, possibly even later today. I don't know. We will obviously consider that. But as you probably noticed at Thames Water, we've been asking our customers since late May to respond to the hot weather, to respond to the dry weather, and just really take steps to use water wisely.
So if, just to kind of clarify, I know you said you're not quite clear if that 14 days would apply. If the National Drought Group says, okay, a drought is going to be declared in the part of the UK, part of England that affects Thames Water, or the Thames Water comes under, if it does and says those 14 days don't count, then would you bring in that hosepipe ban straight away?
Very probably, yes. We are ready to go with our hosepipe ban. Obviously, before we introduce the ban itself, we need to be really ready with all of our communications to people right way across the region. So we're really clear for everybody what they can do, what they can't do, and if they're having any issues, how to contact us. We are ready to do that. So if that is the consequence of the National Drought Group later today, we're in a position to move quickly.
Now, according to BBC data, Thames Water has the worst record on leaks. When out of all the water companies in the UK, you're leaking 24% of the water you supply. Surely. I mean, how do you explain that to customers when you then tell them that they can't...
Money we paid to you guys. Were you worth it?
You know, everyday usage, when you're leaking a quarter of the water you're supposed to be supplying.
Yeah, and I really do understand how that looks from the perspective of customers across our region. And the reality is we all have to do our bit. So we're asking customers to do their bit. We definitely need to do our bit. And that really does involve leaning in and focusing on fixing those leaks. We are doing that. We're fixing more than 1,100 leaks every week. And actually, over the past 3 years, we've reduced leaks by 10%. Over a 5-year period, we'll be reducing leaks by 20%. But it's also important to bear in mind, it is difficult to fix leaks. We've got more than 20,000 miles of pipes. That's we're the biggest water company in the country, so obviously we're going to have the most leaks. And also when the hot weather comes, it dries out the ground, and that itself causes pipes to split and crack. And
yeah, all Victorian pipes.
Upward pressure on leaks too. So we really do have to run to stand still here.
You're fixing 1,100 leaks a week, and you say, this is something we're looking at. I genuinely don't understand how it's acceptable that a company is allowed to leak 24%, a quarter of the water it's supposed to supply.
Yeah, and as I said, I do understand why that is really difficult, but leaks will always be with us. When we have pipes in the ground, we have pipes that are old.
When will it be an acceptable amount? I mean, what is an acceptable amount? Because 24% obviously isn't.
Well, we're hoping to get our leaks down to less than 10%, down to single digits. But it is going to take us years to do that. Well, our aspiration is to do that by 2050, and I know that sounds like a long time.
It is a long time. It doesn't sound
that's not good enough.
It is difficult to do this, though. I mean, every time we fix a leak, when somebody sees water flowing down the street, quite often the hole in the pipe is not where you see the water. So we have to send people in, we have to track where the actual hole in the pipe is, and then we have to open up the road, we have to open up the highway, we have to cause disruption, we have to get in and fix that leak, and then we have to test the main, we have to clean the main, and then we have to do all of that before we put the main back into service.
Health and safety
leaks are invisible leaks. Actually, you can't see them, and the water just stays below the ground. And we've got almost 300 people working literally 24/7 through the night to try and find those leaks so that we can get in there and repair them. And there's also actually quite a lot of leaks on customer pipes as well, inside customers' houses, and we lose water through things like leaky loos as well. So leaks aren't just a problem for Thames Water, although we do need to do our bit and we do need to improve.
Landlords is improving the structure of your house, more likely.
From Thames Water,
your flat or wherever you live.
Thank you very much. Who is the
nice in the back on the someone else. Very smart. Oh, I don't know.
Time now is 12 minutes past 8. Let's focus in on the economy.
If you like this video, please do thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel on Sanjay Evans, but the force be with you always. Quite impressive what they need some money. Outweighing, please Christ, my shouldn't sign your evidence to watching. May the forces be always great. That's what they need to money outweighing. By the